Elizabeth Warren, her campaign has completely collapsed. She's trying now to save herself. Some guy wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today trying to resuscitate on CPR her disastrous government-run healthcare plan, which will double and triple your taxes and in some cases has tax rates up to 100%. So Elizabeth Warren, in an effort herself to resuscitate her campaign, retweeted an older piece from when she was running for Senate in Massachusetts. And I guess the argument she's trying to make here, Joe, is, look, I've been a progressive the whole time. This is what I said when I was running for Senate in this past election or the election before. I'm a far leftist. You far leftists should trust me and therefore vote for me. But what she tweeted out was dumb then, and it's even dumber now. I'm going to play it. Then we're going to play some Obama video, and let me just play it. Then I'm going to dismantle the stupidity in this nonsense. Check this out.
There is nobody in this country who got rich on his own. Nobody. You built a factory out there, good for you, but I want to be clear. You moved your goods to market on the roads the rest of us paid for. Yep. You hired workers the rest of us paid to educate. You were safe in your factory because of police forces and fire forces that the rest of us paid for. You didn't have to worry that marauding bands would come and seize everything at your factory and hire someone to protect against this because of the work the rest of us did. Now look, you built a factory and it turned into something terrific or a great idea. God bless. Keep a big hunk of it. But part of the underlying social contract is you take a hunk of that and pay forward for the next kid who comes along.
You know what's funny? She's really proud of that, as if it's some dispositive statement on economics and taxing the rich. She's proud of that. Everybody's clapping. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Before I tell you why, and there's so much stupidity in there, it's hard to address a single point. I want to play Hat Tip Joe, who picked this out, producer Joe picked this out this morning. Here's Obama doubling down on the exact same sentiment that, no, don't worry. Don't worry. You didn't. Other people did that for you. Didn't. Your own hard work didn't get you wealthy. It was other people who did it. Check this out.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, that you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
Folks, the stupid is strong with this kind of stuff. Their central tenet is not inaccurate. That police departments, fire departments, by the way, how out of touch, police versus fire force, this is how like elitist talk. Police departments, police officers. There's no doubt that they've contributed to the greatness of the United States of America. There's no doubt that having a decent infrastructure to drive on, to have roads that are not impassable, contributes to interstate commerce and commerce in general. Nobody doubts that. Saying things like that are obvious and turning into Captain Obvious like a superhero, it doesn't make you some economic genius. But the premise for arguing that she makes is absurd, and Obama's is even dumber. Ladies and gentlemen, those things were largely financed by the rich and middle class too. So the things she's talking about were not paid for by everyone. They were not. I'm sorry I have to break to you the hard facts, but the show doesn't do BS, okay? They were not paid for by everyone, folks. There are successful middle class, upper middle class, and wealthy people who pay the overwhelming majority of taxes used to finance the police department, the fire department, interstate roads, state roads, county roads, local roads. Those are paid for by successful, hardworking people who paid for that too. In other words, Elizabeth Warren's point and Obama's point that you, hardworking middle class, upper middle class, and wealthy folks who worked your butts off your whole life to get a nice nest egg and some assets to pass on to your kids, to get an education and produce products that make society better because people are buying them and they like them, that somehow you're leeching off this group of others who paid for you to get rich is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Do you even do economics? The top 20% of earners in this country, the top 20%, pay over 80% of the tax load. She's making the counter argument to the argument she thinks she made. You didn't pay for that. Obama, you didn't build that. All those bills were paid for police by other people. No, they were paid for by you too. To help other people who don't pay nearly the tax bill you do. Nowhere close to it. To help them get wealthy and into the middle class too. The argument's the opposite one. Not the one she thinks she's making because she's an economic ignoramus or a liar. The successful and the middle class pay for the police and fire brigades, fire departments, fire forces as she calls them, and the roads you drive on to help you accumulate wealth. They pay for them overwhelmingly. Do you do numbers? You think the rich are getting over in this country? You think they have an easy thing? They pay 80%. The top 1% pay significantly more than the bottom 40%. If you don't like that because you're a jealous loser, I'm sorry, who spends your life envying the success of others rather than getting off your ass and doing something to get wealthy yourself, I'm sorry you're pathetic and live a soulless existence. But you need to do facts, man. Facts. Argue you hate them. I don't like the rich because I don't like them. Fine, whatever. Unlike your liberal buddies, I respect free speech. Say what you want. But arguing somehow that, lower income folks are being wrecked by the tax system because they're being taxed to pay for rich people's police forces is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's not a scintilla of truth to that. Public services are financed by rich, upper middle class, and middle class people. End of story.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.